Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. I have to do this live. Just picked up more items that I need, helping a family in crisis. But I want to make sure you have the world update, the breaking news. Had issues with the last update, like hours and 4 tries. And then it finally uploaded and there were some issues. So I'm going to give you the bottom line, the gist of what's going on, because we like to keep you informed. This will be a brief video. First of all, in the earlier update, and from breaking Israeli news, from Jerusalem Post, from Forbes, from various Israel news, there's a lot going on. And okay, I think I'm back. Since, now a toy's going off. With the anticipation, I'm telling you, it's been that kind of day. With the anticipation of July 1st and the annexation of Judea and Samaria, the Arab and Muslim nations are joining forces. King Abdullah II of Jordan has said there will be political consequences. President Erdogan of Turkey is in the mix. That means Russia as well. Iran, of course. The Palestinians are calling for the EU nations to recognize their statehood. The cabinet, Netanyahu's cabinet, will not recognize Palestine as a nation, and has basically said they need to recognize Israel's sovereignty over her borders. I mean, the tensions are great. They are threatening all-out war, these Arab Muslim nations, against Israel. Then you've got the tension between China and India. And today, President Trump announced that he has permanently defunded the World Health Organization. He has rallied and recognized other nations to stand with him in condemning China's pressure of the World Health Organization not to report the seriousness and the facts of COVID-19, which has obviously impacted the world and the world economy. We know it's a New World Order globalist move. And President Trump has called for sanctions on China in light of the economic stress that is put on Hong Kong and the whole thing. This is significant when we're looking at what's going on. Then, and it is sad that a man died, and I'm not going to go into all the details. I don't know all the specifics, but an African-American man died in Minneapolis. I know charges have been brought up on one officer. I believe there are 3 others that could have charges. There were cameras, body cams, and that's what I'm going to say. Now, what I want to say is we need to pray for the residents of Minneapolis. We need to pray for his family. I have heard some response from George Floyd's family, and I will tell you, they have been, what I've heard has been very gracious. But I was listening today, and a shout out to WBGL in Central Bay area and Pam Peoples. Now, Pam Peoples is an African-American woman. I believe she and her husband, I had the privilege of interacting with her husband, Owen. I don't know what we called the group, but it was 3 churches that came together, and it was really a coaching kind of scenario. And what a man of integrity, what a godly, wonderful man he is, as is his wife, Pam. Pam doesn't really know me, but I get to hear her because I love, when I'm driving, listening to Pam. And so here she is. I believe they have 4 sons or 5 sons, grown men. You would not know it by looking at either one of them. Shout out to Pam and Owen. And I just want to let you both know that you are a blessing you have been to this region, and probably it extends beyond that. The Marine, thank you, Jacob, for serving, who has done very well for himself, and he was stopped and he was detained simply because he looked out of place in that affluent neighborhood. And I'm going to say this, Pam was not raging, and they don't. They are people that really try to they remember first and foremost, Pam gave an excellent message. In the midst of those situations, they remember that they are representing Christ first and foremost. But like a situation like that, I think it was racial profiling, and I don't even think Pam used that word. Now, this is not to start stuff. I want to share with you guys. Many of you know my grandson Jaden. You've seen his picture, and he's biracial. Most people don't know that. They just think that that would make him African American, but he's biracial. His sister Ava is also biracial, but people think she's white and he's black. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't look at them and think, I just don't. I just don't. I grew up in a community in New Jersey where a greater percentage of my friends were African American in school, and then in my own family. Even when I was thinking about Pam and Owen today, and I said a prayer for them and their family, and people of, hey, I think I'm back. Anyway, Pam did a great job, and she talked about some of these situations are very real. And really what we need is an awakening to God, and we need to love one another. And I've heard others, I'm hearing mudslinging and horrible things being said. We need to pray for that entire community. We need to pray for an awakening to God in our nation, in your city, in your states, and we need to love. God is love. So I don't know if you guys can look it up, but I'll tell you what, of everything I've heard, I heard Pam talk about what she and her family have gone through. I was sharing with you guys, I've seen my own son go through things, racism against him. And even as a little boy, there was a situation. We were visiting a place, and I was preaching, and he was the only child of color in that Sunday school, and he was being picked on. We saw it when we went to pick him up, and there were these little girls making fun of him. And I'll never forget, he was only 5 years old, and he said, I'm going to pray that Jesus changes your heart. And I just thought, wow, that's my baby. You don't want to see your child. And when I heard Pam talking about her son and how that would be embarrassing for him to be, all of a sudden there's more police cars, and I have a dear friend, D. Arrington. I'm not sure what last name you're going by. I used to laugh and tell D, now please don't take offense, I used to say I'm more black than you, because of where I grew up and the culture. And she's a beautiful African American Christian woman, highly intelligent, and she and her husband, I think they were test driving a BMW, if I'm correct, and they lived in a good neighborhood. And I'll never forget Dee telling me this story. So they're not even driving, she and her husband. No, I don't think. I could have that wrong. But anyway, when they got stopped, the white salesman was going to give the officer lip. And Dee and her husband was like, don't do it, don't do it. Why? Because they had been conditioned. And I'm not demeaning them in any event, but they knew, and they didn't want conflict. And that struck me. It is real, and we need to be concerned. And so then I heard Pam say, I'm praying for that officer and his family as well, because God loves him too. You know what? Kudos to you, Pam, and the love of God, the love of Jesus that shines through you. Brothers and sisters, that kind of convicted me a little, because if I'm honest, there are times, we want to stand on our rights. And I heard Pam and how they've raised their sons, and they've raised them to honor God and to know that they are Christ's ambassadors. And man, it just blessed me today. So people are asking me about it. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I think it's a horribly situation. I don't know all the details. I am praying for everyone involved. I'm praying for everyone involved. And I'm praying against those who would just use it for political gain and means, and that good comes out of this. What the enemy meant for evil, God will turn to good. We do not need our communities rioting. We need to love one another and stand up for one another, and justice to be served in our communities. So that's my 2 cents on it. I hope that answered the questions. I will tell you, keep your eyes on what's going on with China and the world, with Iran and the Muslim and Arab nations and Israel as we approach the July 1st date. This seems to be coming a very significant date. And last, a shout out to Brother Greg Jackson. Happy birthday, bro. Love you. God bless you. Shalom, shalom. And have an awesome rest of your day.